Yeah, the babies will show
That
up.
would make it more fun.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to World Hoppers. I'm joined by my friend Jade and my friend Jessie, and today we're planning on just doing a chatty catch-up. There might be some things related to books and reading in this video, but a lot of it's just going to be hanging out and talking about life, because there's been a lot going on for both Jessie and Jade over the last few years. And Jade, I feel like especially we haven't seen her here on YouTube for a while, and there's lots of reasons for why, but you're hoping to come back to YouTube soon. Yeah.
Yes.
So,
and actually yesterday I was doing some one of my ideas is to kind of do like a catch-up TBR where I see like what's been popular on BookTube for the past couple of years and like read those things. So I was like typing into the search bar best books of 2023. There are so many like large channels that I've never heard of before. Like, what has happened? There are so many people that I've never heard of who had huge like channels. And so that was really interesting. I was like, wow, the landscape has really changed.
How big is huge for BookTube?
Like over 50K is what subscriber base is what I would consider huge. And like, I mean, they had like over 100,000 sometimes on their views for their best of 2023 videos. And I was like, what? Like, who are these people? Hopefully I'm not totally flubbing those numbers. I'm really bad at numbers. Sometimes I get them wrong by like a whole, I don't know, 0, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. But yeah, I just was very surprised. I was like, whoa, these are all people I've never heard of.
They have 5,000 subs.
Yeah, no, it was definitely more than that.
I like that idea though. And I know that, so one thing with Jade and myself is that over the years, we've definitely been good about understanding the other's going through something. Okay, now the other person's going through something, but we're still friends, even though it's hard to stay up to date with each other just because, especially in 2020, and Jade, you've shared this, so I don't think anybody would, I don't think you mind me saying, but you know, obviously I had a lot going on with my dad passing away and Jade had a miscarriage. And so those were like two really big things occurring. And so we're always good about being there for each other, but the problem ends up, those are serious things. Sometimes, of course, it's more lighthearted and trivial things, but every now and then we'll finally have a chance to message the other person and we'll send such a long message. And then by the time the other person gets around to it, then we're like, wait, I don't even remember everything they said that I need to respond to. And so we're kind of bad about that though. And like Jessie, I feel like part of the problem with keeping up is just that now you have 2 kids.
I can't believe you had a second.
I know.
It happened fast. I'm barely surviving with a 2.5-year-old. I don't know how you're having another one already.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, some people are just like, get the hard stuff over with all at once.
That was our thinking. That was our thinking. It was like, okay, let's do the crib stuff all at once so that when we get rid of the crib, we don't have to get another crib ever again.
Yeah, I want like a 3 or 4 year age gap so that like one is not independent, but more independent.
I was wondering if you were
completely understand.
I was wondering, Jade, if you were still wanting, because I think for a while you were unsure.
The unsureness has more to do with my medical stuff, really. Although I don't know. I think some days we are unsure because life is hectic with a toddler. But because some of the people watching this probably don't know, I do have a video on my channel that talks about this. But one of the medical things that I've had going on over the past few years is I was diagnosed with a brain tumor the day my son was born, and I've had multiple brain surgeries. I've actually had 3, Jessie. I don't know if you knew that, but basically 1 every year since Liam was born. I'm about 6 months out from my most recent brain surgery, so feeling fairly good as far as that is concerned. It could be a lot worse than it is. But yeah, the brain tumor is what's called progesterone receptor positive. Progesterone is a hormone that your body produces a lot of when you're pregnant. So in theory, it could grow a lot if I get pregnant again. And so that's kind of like the concern. But I do plan to do radiation, which in theory should kill any cells that would grow when exposed to progesterone. So like, it's kind of a risk thing. I'm not making any decisions at this point, but that's been the biggest hang up as far as like having another kid is like, should I really do it? It might risk some of my tumor stuff. And I don't know. But if that was out of the picture, I definitely would want to have a second kid. Even though it's hard, I would want them kind of further apart.
Just as your friend, I just want to say, when Jade says it could be worse, I feel like that's her being a complete champ, because all the things that you've had to deal with in the healing from each surgery, especially after that second one, where the result was essentially like, this was unsuccessful.
It was for nothing.
Yeah.
So the second surgery I had, so the first surgery I had, they were able to get a lot of my tumor, but I still had like, they went in behind my ear. Jesse, I'm mostly talking to Jesse because Elle already knows a lot of this, but they went from behind my ear. So it's a craniotomy. I have a big like scar, and like a chunk of my skull is actually metal now. Actually, I have 2 metal plates, but they went in behind my ear and they got most of it, but they couldn't reach kind of like what was between my eyes. And so they wanted to do another surgery to get what was between my eyes. And they attempted to go through my nose because it's safer that way. There's like less nerves and stuff. But for whatever reason, my tumor was really like, it's called fibrotic. It was like really hard from that side, and they couldn't get any of it out. So it was kind of like a waste. So then I had a third surgery where they took out a chunk of my bone here and went in and got a bunch of the stuff because it was compressing my optic nerve on this side. So they got a bunch of it off of that and got as much of it. There's still a big chunk left, and I still have to do radiation, but they got as much as they could. But yeah, I have another metal plate here, and it's actually like if you were here in person, you could probably see it. I went to a work event. Like, I work remotely, and my company's located in California, and we had like an on-site like meeting for like 3 to 4 days. And I've worked with these people for a long time. And so my like icebreaker was like, hey, you want to feel my screws? Because you can like literally feel the screws in my head, which I think is kind of cool. But yeah, I have like a weird messed up skull now because there's metal plates and screws and stuff.
Do you have any more surgeries you have to do, or is it just the radiation at this point?
It's just the radiation. I mean, if they thought they could get more with another surgery, that would be on the table. But I have what I think is a really good surgeon, and he was like, I've done the best I can. Like, there's really no reason to try again. Because the reason why they want you to do like why I had to do multiple surgeries before radiation is like, once you do radiation, then the tissue becomes damaged and like you really can't do surgery afterwards. They were trying to get it as small as possible, and then like radiation is supposed to be the last step. So, and it is benign, which means that it's not like cancerous, like it's not growing rapidly, it's not spreading throughout my body, things like that. It's more about like, where is it and what structures in your brain is it close to? Like, it was pressing down on my optic nerve and causing me to lose vision. I have some double vision like in my upper and lower quadrants, and it was like messing with stuff because of the size and location. So the radiation is to prevent it from growing anymore, growing further. But I don't have to do like chemo or anything. That's a little bit different.
Fine. Okay. How long do you have to do the radiation for?
It's going to probably be 6 weeks, 5 days a week.
Okay. Is that like, I don't quite know, because obviously chemo has like the horrendous side effects.
Yeah.
Does radiation have any side effects like that?
It does, but not as bad. Like I mean, people have different stories when you look into like support groups and stuff, but really, like, they say I should be able to just keep on working. Like, people don't even really take time off for it. You go in, I mean, I have to drive and like go in, and it'll take like an hour to get all set up and do it. It's like probably, I don't know, I might be totally off base, but I think it's like going to take like 15 or 20 minutes to do the actual radiation, but then I have to do it 5 days, like a week for 6 weeks. So it's going to take a lot of time. Most people have like fatigue. You do get some hair loss in like the area that the radiation touches. Your skin might feel sunburned, headaches, some nausea, but it's not like as bad from what I understand as like chemo.
Oh my God.
Like I said, most people, they said just keep working. Like, they don't take time off of work. So I think it's going to be okay. But the biggest complaint I read is people saying they get really fatigued, but even that sometimes won't hit until after they're done with the radiation, and then it kind of like is like a hangover effect. Okay. So we'll see, but I'm sure my radiologist would have wanted me to start already. But my sister, who is 10 years or 11 years younger than me, is getting married in April, and I decided I'm waiting until after her wedding to do the radiation. One, I don't want any hair loss, but also I just want to feel my best and be able to like enjoy the day. So probably this summer I'll be doing radiation.
Okay. Wow. I can't imagine doing all of that with a baby. So you're just like superwoman. I don't understand.
I have a lot of support. Like my husband is a stay-at-home dad, so he's very hands-on and has been from the beginning. I mean, that was the original plan, but he kind of got thrown into it a little more hardcore than we had thought he was going to. But he was very hands-on from the beginning. The birth was hard. I ended up with a semi-emergency C-section, and I have a lot of holes in my memory from that day. Like not that I blacked out, but my brain, like the reason we found out I had it was because like I had like a neurological episode where I was kind of like saying nonsense. I couldn't follow directions, and they sent me for a CT. And like in that time period, I don't really have memories, but I woke up in the neuro ICU. We were separated. He had to be up in the maternity ward. Luckily, my mom was able to stay with him in the maternity ward, and Justin stayed with me in the ICU for like a week. And it was a whole thing. It was really crazy. We breastfed, which is also crazy, for like 2 years.
Oh my God, Jade, are you serious?
I don't know what I was thinking.
How did you do it? You're like truly superwoman. I don't understand.
And I got him to relatch. Like, I mean, I'm sure some people on this or watching this don't want to hear all of that detail, but like it was hard, but I made it work, and we
breastfed for 2 years.
I want to add,
it's hard enough doing it just like normally.
You also have like lost hearing in one of your ears.
Oh yeah, I'm deaf in my right ear because they had to cut through my inner ear, so I have no inner ear bone to vibrate. So like I have no sound. I have tinnitus. I have hearing aids though. I'm not wearing them right now, but what's kind of cool about having these hearing, so it's a hearing aid, but what it does is it basically, there's a mic on the right side that in my deaf side. So it picks up sound on this side and will play it in my good ear. So like if people are talking to me from this side, I don't have to turn all the way around to hear them.
Oh, wow.
Or like when like little things that you don't think about, going to restaurants, I would have to start paying attention to like what side, like the number of times I sat next to Justin with him on my bad side and then be like, oh, we have to switch seats. Like I can't hear you. Little things like that you don't really think about, but that's what these hearing aids will kind of help with. I don't have to think about that as much. Another thing I learned you need 2 ears for is to localize sound. So I can't tell where sound is coming from. It always sounds like it's coming from my left side. So my phone rings or the dogs are barking. Like the dogs have been outside barking and I like go to our bedroom trying to find them. Like I can't tell where sounds are coming from. It's really crazy.
Oh my God.
I started laughing when you were talking about your hearing aids just because I remember when you were like, you were messaging me on Voxer and you're like, okay, let me check. Okay, so it's working. I just want to check because I got these hearing aids and you started telling me about them and then you interrupted yourself to be like, well, they're not really hearing aids. And then you started to explain what it is and you're like, they're basically hearing aids.
I mean, they're basically hearing aids, but like, I think the technical definition of hearing aids is like they help you hear better. And it's not really like I have no hearing in this ear. It's not like improving my hearing. It's just helping me hear sounds from a different side, whatever. So it's the I get caught up in the technicalities sometimes. But one thing really cool about these hearing aids is they're kind of like wearing Bluetooth headphones all the time because I can answer phone calls. They connect to my phone. I listen to audiobooks. I can listen to music. And one of the things that used to drive me nuts before I got them, having only one good ear, if I put in an ear pod to listen to music or an audiobook, I can't hear anything. Justin calls my name. I have no idea he's talking to me. But with these hearing aids, they don't totally like occlude my ear canal, so I can still hear ambient noise. So that was really cool too.
That's cool.
There's some pros. You know what I mean?
Amazing. Bionic woman.
Technology is amazing. It's really cool. Oh my God. Wow. You're Superwoman. I don't get it. It's amazing.
It's been hard. I definitely have down days, and I also deal with a lot of like chronic pain and fatigue and stuff. So that's not fun, but I've been learning to deal with it. I do a lot of yoga and self-care, meditation. I've been going to physical therapy, getting massages. It's honestly, it's a lot of work. Like,
yeah,
I was big into self-care before, but it's like now I really have to do all this stuff, not just to like be my best self, but to like feel normal. And that's kind of frustrating. But
yeah,
I'm still fairly early out from my most recent surgery. I'm going to give it a couple more. I mean, there's nothing I can really do, but I'm going to give it a couple more years because your nerves and brain take a long time to heal. And so I'll really be feeling my best about 2 years outside of my most recent surgery. So looking forward to whenever that happens.
Yeah. Oh, and you still seem like so like happy and yourself, like on here. Like it's just amazing. Like you would never know like all of that's happening.
I'm on Zoloft, but that was like pre-surgery anyway. So, but the other thing that was really crazy about my first surgery that I don't think you know or I've told you, Jesse, is so I was 3 months postpartum when I had my first surgery. It was a 16-hour surgery, which is insanely long. I was 3 months postpartum and I was breastfeeding. So they had to pump my breasts while I was on the OR table. Like I had them call lactation and I was like, you have I was telling Justin, I was like, my boobs are going to explode. And he thought I was like literally saying they're not going to explode, but I'm going to get mastitis. Like someone needs to pump me while I'm on the table because that's a long time to go. Sorry, I know that was a lot of personal details, but
I love Elle just eating the popcorn.
Yeah, that's why it's here. For anybody wondering, I have popcorn because I'm like, the updates are going to be way more for like Jade and Jesse. Not to say like I'm so entertained hearing you tell me about all your struggles. I just want to say also, I mean, this I guess is what Christy's saying. It would be really weird if you're like, and then I had to cut open this side of my head and then this side, and then you mentioned that they had to pump you. If someone's like, that's too much, I would be like, okay, yeah, it's natural. It's how you're feeding your child. But also, the last thing you want is mastitis with everything else because I've heard it's so painful and it gives you like a fever. Well, a lot of people get really sick.
So. This was wild. Right before leaving for Thanksgiving, I mean, this is nothing compared to Jade's story, but here's my minor struggle. God.
Yeah, real quick.
So right before, oh my God, Jade is beautiful.
That's what that is.
Beautiful.
You have ketchup, yeah.
So
that's
cute.
Right. You want to go out there? Okay, go out there with Daddy. Love you, bud.
Oh, my heart. He's so beautiful. He's so cute.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
Sean, I remember when you sent us I don't remember what video it was, but you sent us a video of him and Sean's like, you should tell her that like, I literally think that's the cutest little boy I've ever seen.
Oh
well, not to brag, but that's not the first time I've heard that. Aw, hey Graf, thanks for popping in.
Oh, that's so nice.
We try.
So on my way it was right before we were about to leave for Thanksgiving, and we were going to drive like 6 hours to go to like a Georgia cabin, and my family was in Georgia, whatever. So the day before, I come down with like 102-degree fever out of nowhere. Like I get colds and stuff, but I don't really get fevers much. Like I'm pretty lucky. And so like 102, like I was out and it hit me out of nowhere. And I was thinking it would like go away, but it would go away and then it would come back and it would go away and come back. And all Thanksgiving week, I was dealing with this fever just constantly coming back. And I realized, oh my gosh, it was right when I was trying to finish pumping and breastfeeding, and I hadn't totally emptied everything, and it was mastitis, and it totally knocked me out. And until I figured that out, I just kept getting sick over and over and over again. It was crazy. So yeah, when I finally figured it out, I was able to get it taken care of. TMI. But it was like, oh my God, like what's making me so sick? You just don't even think about it. It's wild.
Yeah, because there's so many other things that happen. Oh, I just realized this is the Prego Pals crew. For those that don't know, when both of them were pregnant, I flew and I visited Jessie, and then I flew from, at the time she lived in Tennessee, and then I flew from Tennessee to where Jade lives, which is a different state. I don't know if Jade wants to share what state she's in, but yeah. So and then I flew to visit Jade and then came back, which was fun. But now Jessie has another kid, and now Jade's little one is, both of your firstborns are big now.
I know, it's
all the clothes I got them probably don't even fit them.
Probably they definitely don't fit.
Well, Jessie.
Oh, okay.
I thought, well, with you, Jade, or one of you, I thought one of you had most of like early and you needed later, or maybe it was the opposite. But I feel like, Jade, that seemed like a you thing to do, where you're like, I have the early 0 to this many months.
But I think we still got like 6 months to a year clothes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're too
not
big.
Newborn.
Yeah. But Jessie is.
You had a boy the second your kid?
I had a girl. I have 2 girls.
You have 2 girls?
2 little girls. Yes.
I'm a little jealous because I want a girl. Maybe the next one, we'll see.
I'm very happy. Yeah. It originally, like when I, was younger, I wanted one of each. Mm-hmm. And then after having a girl, I was like, I'd be happy with another girl or boy. Like it doesn't even matter now. Because it just ends up being so wonderful no matter what. But yeah, I was happy. I feel like Frozen is just going to be their favorite movie. And they're just going to be like little Elsa and Anna running around. Yeah. So cute.
So cute.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Do they get along still?
They do, yes. I mean, Jenny's still pretty young. She's 8 months.
Yeah, so she's got to be pretty young.
Yeah, so she still doesn't quite know how to like play yet, but we're getting close. And Jane is so funny around Jenny. Like she'll like put hats on her, and Jenny's just like, cool. And Jane's laughing at her. Jane will like throw something in her face and laugh, and Jenny will laugh, and I'm like surprised that she's laughing at having stuff like thrown at her. It's weird.
My nieces are so big now. It makes me kind of sad because I saw them very briefly in 2020. I feel like that doesn't really count because they were here to visit my dad, and then the day they got in was the day he died. So then that whole week was not necessarily like, let's have fun and hang out,
Right.
So I feel like that didn't even count. So it's really been it's been years and years, because especially when kids are young, they age obviously so quickly. Yeah, I should say they grow so quickly, not they age. So they age the same amount as everyone else, but they of course the difference for 3 years for a kid versus an adult is different. So yeah, they're like, one of them is I feel like practically, she's basically a preteen at this point. In my head, they're still little. It makes me kind of sad because I never get to see them. My mom, this last Christmas, she'd never got to spend Christmas with her grandkids. So and she was really stressed because there was a lot of things going on in her personal life that made it really difficult for her to go out and visit them. And I told her, I was like, Mom, I'll come. She has a dog that's like just the most, it's a terror. He's sweet, but he's a dumb boy. He's really not bright. He eats everything. He tries to eat everything, which I'll tell a story in a second about that. But my mom's like, I can't leave him alone. I can't leave him with like other people at a kennel or whatever, doggy hotels basically. And I was like, I'll just stay at your house and I'll watch him. And she got to finally spend time with my nieces for Christmas. But she's like, are you going to be sad that you won't get to spend Christmas with anyone? And I'm like, no, I would happily be alone with a dog on Christmas. Yeah. It's like, I feel like it's more stressful to try to visit this person and then this person and this person.
Oh my God,
I don't like other people.
So stressful, especially once you have kids and everybody wants you to spend holidays with them. And it's like, we can't do 3 different Thanksgivings or 3, you know, like, granted there's 2 sides of the family, but then you have like extended family and like, it's just, it's a lot.
And Jade, I mean, Christmas being your favorite, I'm surprised you don't want to.
I hate Christmas for anyone who doesn't know. Very much.
You hate the consumerism, especially like the all the,
but also like the pressures that come with it because of the family obligations and stuff. Like, yeah. Like I enjoy spending time with my family, but I like to do it like on my own terms, I guess, and not like when it's required of me. And I'm trying to, you know, split time with in-laws and extended, like it's a lot. So a lot of it is the consumerism stuff I don't like, but I also don't like how busy it gets and stressful.
I hear you. Get it. Posted a
what
video.
Did you post?
Just like a recent reads wrap up. It's been like 3 months. It was about time.
I check every now and then. Because I tend to watch YouTube when I'm like on the treadmill and stuff. So that's like my treat for myself. I save videos to watch when I'm working out. And that encourages me to work out because then I'm like, I can't watch this until, you know, anyway. But sometimes I'll check and I'll be like, oh man, she doesn't post anything. Not expect you to, but yeah, that's fun. We'll talk about reading in a second. I want to tell a Dutton story. Dutton is my mom's dog.
Oh, yeah.
So first off, when I was dog sitting and my mom left in multiple places, like a checklist. Don't leave this in this place. Make sure if you're going to leave the house, you do, like, she left me all these instructions. She put it on the fridge. She put it next to the garage door. And I'm like, oh my God. She printed it out, you know? So, but because my mom told me like, oh, he'll actually let you take a shower now. Because before, if you try to take a shower, it had to be like, okay, I got to put him, they're speaking of dogs, you know, you got to put him away or whatever. But she's like, he'll let you take a shower. And I'm like, okay.
Wait, what do you mean?
So I went to take a shower, but instead of taking, what was that, Jessie?
Wait, what does he do during the shower? Did he just bark at you?
No, so I didn't take a shower. My mom
won't let you shower.
Like he'll tear something up basically, or he'll try to eat something. So I was like, okay, I can at least take a shower. So I didn't take a shower. My mom's because she's in her master bedroom. She has like a bathroom attached, right? And so I was like, I'll just go like take a shower in the guest bathroom because that was like my bathroom growing up. I feel like a little weird using my mom's. And he destroyed my pillow. He grabbed the pillow from off the bed and literally it was just like it wasn't even a big pillow, but it was just stuffing all over the house. Like I got out of the shower and I was like, gosh, darn it. So then I'm like trying to get it all. And then of course, now that he sees me getting it, he's got to try to get it. I'm like, no. Cause I don't want to deal with like, oh great. Is he going to now not be able to go to the bathroom? Do I have to text my mom, be like, I had to take Dutton to the animal hospital? He was fine. But he has before, he was at, my mom was, she took him to one of those like doggy daycare things, to have him like socialize with other dogs and stuff like that. And he was fine, but some of the dogs kind of got into it with each other and somebody had been wiping something down. And when they saw the dogs getting into it, they like ran to go help. And Dutton sees the rag that the person had been wiping stuff down, a rag, like a washcloth, not like a small paper towel, a washcloth. And he swallowed the whole thing. So then they called and they're like, I'm really sorry, but your dog swallowed a washcloth. And my mom's like, I can't leave him anywhere. So they had to take him to the emergency, you know, animal hospital. And they had to, luckily it wasn't too far in. So he was able to throw it up. But she has had to pull stuff out of his butt before because he's just always taking everything. If you come in, she'll push everything to like the edge of every counter, hoping that he can't get it. He's getting better. Apparently. But,
oh my God.
But he's like, he doesn't understand that it's not playtime. Like when he takes something, you'll be like, drop it. And then you just see his tail wagging like, oh, I'm getting attention. And you're like, I don't understand. Because Luna understands the guilty. If you come in and you say, what did you do? She like gets all sad and stuff. And Dutton doesn't understand. So anyway, there's the Dutton story.
Oh my God.
You
kind of. That dog.
So
that's
this is why
and a child.
It's honestly, it's stressful. My mom though is like, this is why I can't leave and go anywhere because but that's why I was like, Mom, I'll watch him for however long you need me to. Just go.
I think he'll grow out of it at least a little bit. Toby used to be like that. I mean, he still sometimes will eat things he's not supposed to. But he's gotten a lot better once he got out of the puppy phase.
I love that graph. That's hilarious.
And yeah, I shared a picture. He's really cute. I shared a picture on my community tab and I was like, he's naughty. And people were like, he looks like such a gentleman. I'm like, no.
He looks so cute. Dennis, the menace of dogs. Yeah, for real. That's so funny. Oh,
how are your dogs? Because all of you have pets.
Not like that.
No, not quite like that.
They're better than that.
Jesse's dog was so cute because when you were pregnant, it would she would come out by you. She seemed more protective.
Yeah, we would go to the dog park and she wouldn't leave my side. And she loves playing with other dogs. So it was shocking that she didn't want to run amok and go play. But when I was pregnant, she like would not leave my side at the dog park. And if another dog came up, she would like get between us. She was very protective. Dogs totally know. It's really cool.
I think they could hear the heartbeats at a certain point. Like they have really good hearing.
Speaking of I guess TMI stuff, can they like smell a difference?
I think so. Yes, I think.
I would think so, but I think so. Like you probably smell different because of hormones and stuff.
Yeah, I think the hormones, there's something about it they can smell. It's pretty interesting. Dogs are really cool.
Yeah.
What an understatement, Jessie.
What?
I said, what an understatement. I'm just being silly. Have you ever looked up why dogs sometimes will basically spin in a circle before finally laying down?
No.
Because I've always I'll watch Luna do that. And I'm like, why do they do that? I looked it up and they don't know for sure, but they think, if I'm remembering correctly, animal facts make me happy. I think they're interesting. But apparently, supposedly, it's that wolves, when they're going to be in this state of, we're going to sleep, thus we are more likely to not know if another, like a predator is coming, right? Mm-hmm. The idea is that they're spinning because they're trying to catch the scent and the direction of the wind so that they're as much as possible facing a direction where they're not as likely to their scent to be picked up and stuff, kind of sort of thing. Or they'll be able to smell something if they're asleep with the wind.
Tell where the wind is. I have an interesting animal fact about how dogs can tell time. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
So you know how dogs sometimes seem to know it's time to eat or it's time for person to come home. They know when things are supposed to happen. It has to do with smell and the dissipation of the smell. Once you've been gone a certain amount of time, your smell is lessened a certain amount. So they know this is the time the person always comes back or whatever. You can tell the passage of time by how much the smell has disappeared.
That's really interesting. My husband every year for Christmas gets me this daily calendar. It's Thoughts of Dog. So this one is, the humans said they might make pancakes in the morning. So the faster I fall asleep, the sooner I get a pancake. As you can imagine, it is hard to snoozle under so much pressure. So every day I get a little thought of a dog. And I love it.
I love watching those videos on Instagram and on Facebook and probably TikTok. I don't use TikTok. Of the talking buttons. Have you guys?
Yes, that's amazing.
And there's cats that are even doing it now too. It's so cool.
So cool.
I wish I had the patience and time to teach my dogs to use them because I want to know what they're thinking.
I know. So cool.
Luna is too smart sometimes. And she's very expressive, sort of. She'll let you know when she's not pleased with your decision to not give her a treat, that kind of thing. Because she'll go stand right next to the cupboard where the treats are, and she'll And you're like, no. And she'll no. Sometimes she'll lay down and she'll go, which I've mentioned before. She'll sigh super loudly and you're like, oh my gosh. She's
Drama.
very dramatic in that way. But she's smart in that, like, because sometimes she has, you know, a fair amount of toys, and I'll ask her, you know, where's your, and I'll ask her a specific toy, like, where's your moose? Where's your whatever? And sometimes I'm doing it so that she'll get it and then we can play with it. But when I was first training her how to do this, and I would reward her when she would get it right, so I'd give her a treat. So now if she gets any of them right, she just immediately, she'll pounce on it. She won't even like pick it up with her mouth. She'll just pounce on it. And then she'll like look at the treat cupboard. So anything ever that's associated with treats, she's basically like, now I get a treat, right?
That's, yeah, she is too smart. Oh.
She's not friendly though. You know, like I really want another dog, but she's not the friendliest dog. She's like, I want to be the, yeah. She didn't have the best experiences with other dogs early on. I've mentioned before that there's the neighbor's dog dug under the fence and then tried to attack her, which was a mistake because it's a Chihuahua and she's a massive dog. So, you know, I woke up to a dog fight basically, and Luna had pinned the dog down until I got there. I can't believe she didn't actually hurt it though. It's baffling to me. But anyway, I feel like there was another animal. Oh, okay. Speaking of animal facts, because I think they're super funny. Have you seen those? I forget what they're called. Something shrimp. And their punch is so powerful. It can literally punch like the claw of a crab off. Have you seen the mantis shrimp? I think they're called. Have you seen this? You have to watch it. I would bring it up on this, but it would probably then like get demonetized. And you know, World Hoppers is money for charity, so I don't want to do that. But because they like burrow in these things, and you know, the crabs are walking along, and these mantis shrimp just punch these crabs, and they'll like the crab will go flying, or its claw will fall off, and it's so fast it actually will make the water boil where it punched. It doesn't make any sense, like from an evolutionary standpoint. Their eyes are way too overdeveloped. They see, I think humans have what, like 3 color receptors or something. I'm probably not using the right terminology. They have like 9 or something, or like 6, some absurd number, way more. So they see way too well. It doesn't make any sense. I'm pretty sure scientists don't understand. Like, there's no evolutionary reason why they should have developed their eyesight this good. Because in my head, I'm like, is it to help distinguish along like the ocean floor the difference between a rock or a crab, so that they're not just punching rocks all the time, right? But I'm like, I don't think their vision would need to be this good. Are you looking it up, Jessie?
Yes. They're so
Did you find it punching a crab? They're so ugly.
They're so ugly.
I'll send you the video later. I think if you type in mantis shrimp on YouTube, it'll say something like punches a crab. It'll fill in. You should try it. You should see if it does.
I will.
Anyway, so that's hilarious. And all of the comments are about that. You know, like some person, I think I saw a comment that's like, I like how these scientists are trying to teach us stuff and we're just here to see a crab get punched, you know? Also, Sean and I were kind of randomly, like kind of sort of playing a game of why do we think that this animal developed this way? And then we would guess, and then we would look it up because we're really cool people.
Like fun.
So we're like, his question, he's like, why are pandas the coloring that they are? Like, why are they partially white and black, right?
Right, like that's
so before. So camouflage, okay. So Jessie, is that just like general camouflage? Do you think that's what it is?
No, I was saying I think that's bad camouflage.
I thought you said it was camouflage.
I don't know.
So what would your guess be, Jade?
I don't know.
Don't know. What would yours be, Jessie?
This is gonna sound so stupid.
No, I feel like there's no stupid guesses because you never know.
You know how the like football players put the black under their eyes so that the lights don't shine and like reflect
blind them
into their eyes. Maybe because of that.
It's a good. I feel like that's not a dumb guess.
That's a reasonable guess.
So, we had like a mix of guesses. Sean, as many people know, my husband tends to read just like such a wide variety of books. So he was reading a lot of like evolutionary type of things, which is what got us on this kick. And I love animal stuff. I watch tons of animal documentaries with my dad all the time growing up. So anyway, I think Sean's was wondering if it has to do with like selection, like the markings, even though they all look the same to us, if there's like some kind of preference, like where the females like certain markings, and so over time those markings were the dominant genes, you could say, passing on. That was Sean's guess. And then my guess, because I'm like, they don't really have predators where they are, but then I was thinking about like the supercontinent and Pangea, and I think most bears came from like the brown bear essentially. And then, like, you know, polar bears became white, have the longer necks for hunting through the snow and things like that. So I'm like, okay, so I wonder if it has to do with as they were traversing to the part of the world they're in, if their coloring developed a certain way because of like their diet. And actually, I did guess sort of the opposite of you, Jade, like a camouflage thing, because things like killer whales, orcas, have white on the bottom and mostly black on top because from the things beneath them, if they look up, it just looks like the light because of the white here. But then from above, it's dark with the water, right? So I was like, I feel like it's probably something to do with that. And it's kind of like a mix of these are theories they're pretty sure are accurate, but it's sort of a mix of things where their diets are so poor in nutrients that they don't have the ability to do what other animals do, like the Arctic fox, where they are white for part of the year and then they change to a different. So it's like they have like this half and half that lasts them, like it's good enough for this part of the year and then it's good enough for the other part of the year. It's like that's part of it. So it's somewhat tied to camouflage and diet. And I think there was one other animal, kind of sort of like a Wolverine-ish, that has something similar. But also their diets aren't good enough to hibernate. Like brown bears don't change, but they hibernate, right? Like grizzlies and stuff. But their diets are just like not good enough to sustain them for that length of time. So yeah, it's just it's like a mix of camouflage stuff and diet. So there's only like a few animals in the world that have this half and half coloring, and that's kind of sort of what it comes down to. Let's see. We are all watching mantis, shrimp, punching crabs. We have 3. They have 12. Yeah. Okay. I knew it was some high number. Hello. This has got to be so. I don't know if you just hopped in or if you just commented, but this chat's gone in so many different directions. So,
Jesse,
anyway,
I'm curious what maybe your youngest is too young to have interests, but Jane, what kinds of things does she like? Because Liam has a dinosaur obsession and has for a long time, and recently also added on woolly mammoths to that. Like he is obsessed with woolly mammoths, and there's obviously some YouTube videos that he enjoys. There's a band called Howdy Tunes. They have videos on YouTube and a playlist on Spotify, and they like make these like heavy metal songs about dinosaurs and woolly mammoths, and it's like literally on repeat at my house. And like Liam will be like, woolly mammoths, like bobbing his head. It is the funniest thing. And we took him to the museum recently to see like dinosaur bones and woolly mammoths and stuff, and he loved it. And when we left, he was just crying because he wanted to stay with the woolly mammoth. And some days he like wakes up and asks like, mammoth, like, can we go see the mammoth today? So I know way too much about dinosaurs and mammoths that I never thought I would know.
Yeah, I was a big dinosaur person. So Jane likes dinosaurs quite a bit, but her favorite is Toy Story. It's the only movie she'll watch all the way through. She watches Toy Story 1 and she watches Toy Story 2, and that's it. We're like getting halfway through Moana now, but Toy Story, the only one she's ever finished. And I'm like,
hard for us too. There's
I'm
only a handful. Yeah. So the first one that we got him to watch all the way through was The Good Dinosaur. That's a Disney.
I need to try that one.
So that one was the first one to stick, and it was the only thing he watched for a while. And then the next one we got to stick was The Lion King. And then, he had a stage where he really liked Elemental, which is really cute. I don't know if you guys have watched Elemental, but it's a super cute Pixar movie. But the like two main characters, it's a girl and a boy. Well, they're elements, but there's multiple scenes where they like touch hands. Like they're not supposed to be able to touch because the girl is fire and the guy is water. They like touch hands, and that happens like 2 or 3 times during the movie. And Liam will grab my hand and like do this with me when it happens.
It's so cute.
And then
no Land Before Time.
I tried. He won't watch. The thing is you have to keep exposing it, and like each time you get a little bit further, until eventually you finally get through the whole thing. So the newest movie we've been able to add to the rotation. It's not really a rotation because he won't go back to the other ones. But we've been watching Ice Age because it has a woolly mammoth in it.
I was going to ask if that
Ice Age.
As a kid, my sister, who's 5 years older than me, I'm pretty sure she had an obsession with Land Before Time, and then I had an obsession. I think my dad was like, that movie, both of you loved that movie. And then the dinosaur thing in general, I don't know what it is. I feel like every child at some point has an obsession with dinosaurs, and I don't know. I kind of now want to look up if there's studies that explain.
I swear when I was a kid, there were like 5 dinosaurs. There's so many dinosaurs. And like when we go to the library and they have dinosaur toys, I'll like name them like, oh, that's a brontosaurus. Oh, that's a blah, 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 stegosaurus. And then the parents like look at me like, wow, you know your dinosaurs. And I was like, this is not by choice, guys. Like I learned them because of him. Like I don't just know dinosaurs.
My niece, when she was basically a toddler, her dad said the wrong dinosaur. And she was like, no, Dad. And she corrected him. And he was like, oh, excuse me. So
that's hilarious.
So funny.
I love that movie too. I remember that one.
I was obsessed with Jurassic Park, specifically the T-Rex scene from Jurassic Park. Like as a child,
the kitchen
toddler. No, like the T-Rex
where he like
attacking the cars in the rain and he eats the person. I would watch that scene as like a kindergartner.
Justin and I have talked about like at what age is this an appropriate movie? We're thinking
it was not age appropriate at all. It was not even close to being age appropriate, and I loved it so much. And I refused to look at the dinosaurs that didn't eat people. I had to play with dinosaurs that ate people, and my parents were like, "Should we be worried?"
I don't know this fact. The Brontosaurus has actually been debunked and is no longer a dinosaur. They changed it
to the Brachiosaurus. Justice for the Brontosaurus.
I thought they were 2 different dinosaurs, but maybe not.
No, I think
there's one called a Dimetrodon, and that's actually not a dinosaur. I didn't know that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think they removed the Brontosaurus and just named it is it the Brachiosaurus? Is that the one, Graph?
I mean, that is a dinosaur, yeah.
Yeah, I think they like combined them.
I know they're not actual dinosaurs.
Too, like an Apatosaurus, an Amalgasaurus, like all kinds of
These just sound like Pokemon to me now. Have you seen those? Speaking of dinosaurs, I know they're not technically dinosaurs, but alligators, because they're similar. Have you seen the frozen alligator?
No.
Have you seen this? No. Speaking of animals again, so there's this video of this alligator in, I want to say it was like North Carolina, where the water froze. And I guess the alligator could tell the water was going to freeze by the temperature and stuff. So it just positioned itself so just its nose was sticking out. And you can come and it looks like it's trapped in, I mean, it's ice. I could just say it looks like it's trapped in ice, but it almost looks like it's trapped in tar because you can see it. It's just frozen. It's just its nose so it can keep breathing. And it's so cool. I think it's so cool. And of course, the comments are all like, boop, because that's everybody wants to touch its nose. And then I think this next thing was a crocodile, not an alligator, but there was a crocodile in a zoo that reproduced without a male, which was kind of cool. And apparently that's a thing that like lizards and birds have done before.
That's where the Jurassic Park idea came from.
Yeah. Yep. And so of course all the comments on that were life finds a way or whatever the phrase is. But it it was so, to me, I'm like, that's bizarre. I think that's so kind of cool. I don't know. I thought it was awesome. But then because it was in a zoo, it makes sense that they would know that it hadn't had contact with a male crocodile. But people don't read the full caption. So there were all these people that were just like, how on earth would you know? And I'm just like, it's not, did I talk about this in a sprint or something, Jade? Because I'm like,
I don't know.
I feel like I brought it up at some point, but I'm like, it's not like it's like sneaking out to go visit its crocodile boyfriend at the zoo. You know what I mean? Like, it's a zoo. I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear
You
how
don't know
they
what goes on when the doors are closed. You don't know.
Yeah, that's true. The zoo after dark, you know.
Yeah, zoo after
definitely a different situation. Yeah, let me see if I can find the picture of the alligator frozen, because I'm like, that is so, I think it looks so cool. I'll just type it in, because if it's on the computer, I can share it. So do you think your kids would like alligators since they like dinosaurs?
Probably.
I think Liam would, yeah.
Yeah.
And during the summer here at the Dallas Zoo, they had, well, I guess I just gave away where I lived in the Dallas area, but they had an outdoor dinosaur exhibit where they had like animatronic dinosaurs, and he loved it. It was really cool.
That's awesome. I have read, to answer your question, Lenoria, I have read Jurassic Park, and it's awesome. It's awesome. It's like, it's pretty different from the movie. Like, there's a lot that they changed for the movie, but then there's like still those iconic scenes that are from the movie that are in the book. The book's so good. It's so good. So I
need to read that.
Yeah. I read The Lost World as well, and that one is super different than the movie Lost World. So that one's also worth reading. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's amazing.
So this isn't a video.
It's basically like hibernating, because its body temperature is going to drop really low. And then everything's just going to slow down, and it's going to like hibernate until it warms up again. Kind of like people who go into hyperthermia, like their body like slows down. And I mean, there's been stories of people who they thought were dead, but were just like really hypothermic. And then when they warmed up, they came back to life and stuff.
Gosh. Wow.
Let me get through. So there's the question about, they've brought back the Brontosaurus.
Okay. I was like, I thought it was real. Okay. That's crazy though, that they changed it.
For over a century, they took away, but have recently resurrected it. Interesting. Are they going to do the same thing with Pluto as a planet? I don't think so.
Oh, it was the Apatosaurus that they had combined it with, but then they separated it again.
Yeah, the Apatosaurus. I learned about that one from Miss Rachel. I don't know if your kids like Miss Rachel, but we did a lot of Miss Rachel around here.
Yeah, Jane never got into Miss Rachel. I don't know why.
Liam loves music, and I mean, part of it is I sing a lot and stuff to him, but he just loves music.
Liam lets you sing. I'm so jealous. Jane let me sing for a long time, and now anytime I start to sing or hum or even dance, she goes, "No, sing."
Really?
Yes. And she goes,
I did that to my mom.
Yes, and I did it to my mom. And my mom's like, "Ha ha, that's what you get."
Yeah, I feel so bad. Oh my, I'm sorry, because my mom would start to sing to me, and then once I got to a certain age, I was like, "No singing, Mom, stop!" And
no sing, no dance.
Yeah, but now she can
loose in my house.
Sing all she wants.
Can't sing.
Sean and I sing random songs all the time. Like Luna likes peanut butter, you know, so we'll be like, peanut butter, you love it. It's just like stuff like that, you know. Or like, who's the cutest doggy in the whole wide world? Luna. Stuff like that.
I do stuff like that too.
I think most people, maybe not. I think a lot of people sing to their pets.
A lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, those are two. The Luna Bear, who's the cutest doggy in the whole wide world, is a classic for us.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. She's I won't start, because if I start talking about Luna, it's just not going to stop. So I won't go that route. Oh, scientists are still arguing about Pluto. It's a planet on my mind, at least. Hey, She's a sailor in Sailor Moon, so
that's true.
fish the planet. I'm just kidding. That's obviously not a good metric, you know.
The only metric I use.
Source of truth.
Yeah. So funny.
I saw this video of a cat that apparently every day harasses her owner until she puts on cartoons. And then the cat sits in this little chair and watches cartoons. It was really cute. It was a really cute cat.
What a life.
Yeah. It would do the that's just a meow sound. But you know, cats make those weird noises. They make lots of weird noises, but the cat would make like a silly little chirpy noise until she put the cartoons on for it.
That's hilarious.
Guys, I can hear a pterodactyl heavy metal sound, music song outside my door right now.
What was the name of it again?
This band with you. It's called Howdy Tunes is the band. But they've got a couple. What's really cool is they sing a lot of their songs in English and Spanish, so they'll have like a Spanish version too.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah,
my mom
very much loves like classical music and things like even regular rock and stuff. She's like, that's not music. She doesn't like it, and she was like, not freaked out, but just like couldn't believe that Liam loves like, it's not like super heavy metal, but it's definitely rock. And he's like bopping his head to it and like jamming out. And she's just like, I can't believe he likes this.
It's so funny.
Yeah, he likes what he likes. I don't know.
What music do your kids like, Jessie? Or do they not like singing of any kind?
No, they don't mind when other people sing. It's just me. They like, oh, I'm a gummy bear. Yes, I'm a gummy bear. Have you never heard this song?
I have not.
That song. What does the fox say?
Oh, of course. I more meant like genre.
How would you classify this? Disney songs they like, because I force them to. They like any sort of like nursery rhyme type song, kid songs, basically. Yeah, that's it.
Do you think you'll have encourage, I should say, your kids to play any instruments or anything?
I was encouraged, we'll say, to play the piano growing up, and looking back, I'm glad I did it, but it was something that never ever came easy for me. And I took piano starting at age 5, and I took it all the way through my senior year of high school. And I never got like really, really good where I could just like sit down and play something, or sit down and like very easily read a piece of music. Like I would have to like struggle through and like practice over and over and over and over again. So it never really came easy for me. So after high school, I stopped playing. I didn't like get a keyboard or anything like that. And I have no interest in going back to it because it was just so difficult for me. But if my kids show interest in it, it's definitely something I'll be happy to encourage. But I think how I view it is they kind of have to, I'll follow their lead. Like if they want to do it, I'd be happy to
I think
set them up.
Instruments are so difficult because a lot of kids, it's hard to gauge. A lot of kids in the moment, they're like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And then they get older and they're like, man, I really wish I had kept with it.
Yeah.
I think Shoshana's expressed that before. Like she played some piano and she's like, oh, I wish that I'd kept going and that maybe my mom had pushed me a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then other kids, it's like, no, I hate this. So the piano's tough as far as the fact that it's not really a group oriented instrument. I think for a lot of kids, when they're in band, when they're in orchestra and they have that camaraderie, like we're all trying to learn this piece. And then when it sounds good and all comes together, it feels really great. So you don't really have that when you play piano. It's a very solitary instrument for the most part, unless you start doing accompaniment with other people or something. But Jay, do you think Liam will want like a guitar, an electric guitar, or drums? Is that what we're saying? Drum set?
So Liam loves drums since he was little. He's got 3 or 4 different drums. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law actually bought him a really cool drum that's like, I forget what it's called, like a steel tongue drum, but it basically plays notes, which is really cool. So if you hit it in certain places, you can like play music and like songs. But yeah, he loves drums and always has. And yeah, I think I also did grow up playing an instrument. I played violin for a long time, and I played French. I grew up in a very musical family. Like my mom sings a lot, plays piano, things like that. But Justin didn't, and so I think we're both on the same page. Where like if Liam wants to do it, we will. But I don't want to push him to do something he doesn't want to. You know. So I don't know. It's hard to say, but I think he's going to want to, just based on the little bit of personality we've seen so far. Like he seems to really like music. So we'll see where it goes.
I find a lot of a child's interest in music in a lot of ways can come down to how their teacher is with them. Mm-hmm. It depends, of course, they have private lessons or if it's in school or if it's a combination of both. But certain instruments are just so challenging. Like you sound so bad for so long. At least piano, as long as you're hitting the right keys, you're not going to sound atrocious. I mean, piano is hard though, because you're having to read multiple lines of music, and you have both hands, and sometimes, of course, sometimes you have different rhythms in one hand than the other, and things like that.
That's where I struggle.
But at least it's like if you're hitting the right keys, even if it takes you a bit, it's going to sound decent. Or if you can learn a few chords, then you know you might be able to like sing or something while you're, whatever the case may be. But other instruments, it's like if you can't even make a sound, you know what I mean? So, and if you try,
it takes an ear to like know how to play into, like recognize when you have an in tune note and when you're like flat or sharp, like you have to have. And I think that for some people, that ear, like you're either born with it or you're not. Like you can learn it a little bit, but some people just like can't hear the difference. Like my dad is totally tone deaf. He loves to sing karaoke, but it sounds not good. He doesn't care. Like, but it's like no matter how hard he tries, he can't hit the right notes. Like he just,
I think that people who have perfect pitch, I'm like, that's a superpower. I don't understand how you just can hear any note and you know what it is. I understand relative pitch. Like I have decent kind of relative pitch. So if I hear a certain note, especially on the violin, like the notes sound different depending on where on the instrument you're playing it, things like that. I can usually pick out the note, but some people can just hear construction outside and the buzzing. They're like, that's a C sharp or what, and you're just like, okay. But Jade, to your point about your dad, it reminds me of for anybody that's watched Modern Family, when Cam is trying to get Lily to sing and he is playing the note on the piano or on the keyboard and he's singing the note and he's like, whatever the note is, and she's like, and he's like, there's no possible way you can think this is the same note. Like getting really frustrated with her because she can't hit a note at all. So
Liam is starting to sing, and it's the cutest thing. Like we would watch The Lion King, and I love the Be Prepared song. Like it's one of the best villain songs. And he would sing it and be like, be prepared. It's so cute.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I'll have to find a video of him singing and send it to you, Jessie.
Yes, please do. I love it.
Yeah. Christy knows the scene I was referencing. Have you seen the young girl named Nandi? She's amazing. She played live for...
No,
I don't think so.
That's cool.
Man, child prodigies, though, I'm just like, nothing makes you feel like you've accomplished nothing in your life and never will, like watching a child prodigy.
I know, oh my God. For real.
This has been fun. We've been chatting about a lot of things, but just to kind of bring it to books here at the very end, you know, since that's what unites, that's where our friendships began. We touched on a little bit throughout the video, Jay talking about how you want to have like a catching up what's been popular over the last few years, TBR, and Jesse, you just posted a recent wrap up today. But do you have any, maybe not goals necessarily, like formal goals, but just anything that you're wanting to pick up, or how has your reading changed because life has kind of become so different than what it was when your channels first started?
Yeah.
I don't get to read much very often. Oh, that didn't make sense. I don't get to read very often anymore. Part of it is that I'm just exhausted all the time. I don't know about you, Jesse, but I'm just tired all the time. And I'm impressed that your kids go to bed when they do. We've always been lax about sleep in this house. Like, I don't know, the way Justin and I think about it is just like, we don't like being told when to go to bed, which is, it's not logical when it comes, like if we had a second kid, I don't think this would work. But Liam goes to bed between 10 and 11. And by then I'm just exhausted and want to go to sleep myself.
Yeah,
he does sleep in because he stays up late. He sleeps in until like 8 or 9, which is really nice. Like he's not someone who wakes up at 6 a.m. because neither Justin or I are morning people. So the schedule right now works okay for us, but between work and taking care of a kid and 3 dogs, I mean, granted, I have a husband that helps with all that too. He does a lot of it. I often choose to sleep instead of read. So that's been a little bit hard. I definitely rely on audiobooks when I can. I've been trying to prioritize reading here or there. I have a Patreon book club. Not that we've been that good about reading things, but we were trying. And so, yeah, I haven't read anything in January, although I am about halfway through The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And I'm really enjoying that. So that'll be my first read of the year. But yeah, I read A Big Fat Zero in January because the other book that I was trying to read was for my Patreon book club. We were trying to read Perdido Street. What is the full name? The China Miéville book.
Station.
Perdido Street Station. And I got like 25% through it, but it's long and I wasn't quite enjoying the beginning of it. So didn't get very far. And then I picked up Addie LaRue like at the very end of January. So
yeah,
that's all I've got. As far as the rest of the year, like I want to try and do like a catch up on what's been popular, but I think I want to try to limit it to standalones or like completed series, like any of the series that I was reading before that have been completed in the last couple of years. I kind of want to binge those. I'm going to be reading more Robin Hobb this year. I think I need to read the Rainwild Chronicles next because I've been doing a read along with Bethany and some other people for some of those, the Realm of the Elderling books, which are really, really good. I love them. So looking forward to that. But I need to sit down and like figure out like not a real TBR, but like write it down, like what I want to do. And I've been trying to do some research watching like best of 2022 and 2023 books to try and come up with a list of things. So if anybody has recommendations on things I need to catch up on, but yeah, I'm going to try maybe to limit them to standalones or completed series because you guys know I start too many series. So
I think a lot of us do. Also, when's the Perdido Street Station discussion, Jade?
We'll talk about that in our Discord. I need to update them. Yeah.
Oh, Guns of the Dawn is my guess. Is that your recommendation, Christy? Yeah.
Love Guns of the Dawn. So good.
But that's the first book in a series, right?
No, it's a standalone.
Okay, well, I just moved it up my list.
So good. It's so good.
I have already read an Adrian Tchaikovsky that I liked, so I'm looking forward to reading a fantasy of his because I read the Children of Time. Yeah,
I requested Guns of the Dawn at my library. I was telling Christy this. And then just because you request it doesn't mean that you get it first. It's like, bless you. If you request like it to be purchased. So sometimes they'll purchase it and then all of a sudden it's like, you're 6th in line. And I was like, no. So I am in line, but I don't have it just yet. But yes, this is the author of Sword of Kaigan, Blood Over Bright Haven.
Oh, I have that one. I need to read it. Yeah.
Yeah, you have the hardcover. I remember.
Oh, you might really like Guns of the Dawn. I was so surprised that you read How to Sell a Haunted House. When you showed that in a TBR, I was like, that is going to be a disaster.
How did you know it would be? So, okay.
Ridiculous.
What?
It's ridiculous, but I loved it. But it's so silly.
I didn't realize just how silly it was going to be. Not that I expect you to go and watch it, Jesse, but did you watch my full review for it? I
saw your wrap up where you talked about it. I haven't seen your review of it though.
You if you need something on to make you chuckle, I think you can skip maybe well, I don't know. Anyway, you don't have to watch. I always feel weird telling my friends like watch my videos.
Oh,
but
it's ridiculous. Well, because you don't like the tonal shift thing, and that's kind of what like Grady Hendrix does.
Yeah, because it was I get if it's weird throughout, like if it's quirky throughout, satirical throughout, but it was like so grounded and rooted in normalcy and in discussing grief.
And don't you love that first half of it so much?
I did really like the first chunk, and then it just goes off the walls.
Oh, it goes bonkers, and I freaking loved it. But I was nodding my head with everything you were saying.
It's ridiculous. They're so dumb when she's
dumb.
Jade. This is hard for me to say because
that much about this book. So
I have such an eye phobia, but basically the girl's eye is like severely injured, right? Like she shouldn't even have an eye anymore. Yeah. And her brother takes her to a diner. He's like, I know what you need. And he takes her to a diner. And I'm just like, why? Because she's like, I need to go to the emergency room. Take me to the emergency room. And then he takes her to a diner. I'm like, why are you taking her here? I don't understand. So yeah, it's such a goofy.
It reminds me of that what's the insurance company that does that Halloween commercial where they're like, well, why don't we just get in the running car? And the people are like, are you crazy? We gotta hide behind the chainsaws. Like that's Grady Hendrix books. Like
yeah, that's what it seemed like.
I've only read the Southern Book Club's Guide to Killing Vampires or whatever it was. I had fun reading that one. It had some funny, but that one was good. And it's funny, speaking of Grady Hendrix, so I run a book club at my work, and I'm in charge of so I do it where people nominate things and then we vote. You know me, I'm very democratic. I want to make sure everyone gets a vote in what they want to read and stuff. Anyways, I totally flubbed, and this was I don't know, mom brain tumor brain or what, but I put so the book that won our book club nominations was Final Girls by Grady Hendrix, or no, I got them mixed up. I said Final Girls Support Group by Riley Sager, but it was I mixed up the author. And the description was totally wrong. And someone was like, wait, so are we reading Final Girls or Final Girls Support Groups? Because they're by different authors. And I was like, oh my God. I totally messed that up.
That's very understandable though.
Yes,
those are pretty similar.
I guess, but I kind of see myself as the book guru at work, and I totally mess that up.
That's okay. I feel that's a really, especially
I wrote this thing oh, I'm so excited this book won because I love Riley Sager. I can't wait to read it. And the one that won was Grady Hendrix, not Riley Sager.
That's okay though. I just remember when you had that Karen Slaughter book called Pretty Girls, right? Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was from the library. So her first name was cut off by the sticker. So didn't Justin think it was Slaughter Pretty Girls?
He thought that was the name of the book.
It's quite the title.
Slaughter Pretty Girls. No, that's not the name of the book.
What the book is anyway. Oh, this is pretty
bad sticker placement.
Yeah.
Jesse, though, before you distracted me by bringing that book up, what are some of your plans for yourself with your reading, or what's your reading been like?
Plans.
I have finished a bunch of series. I finished the Discworld Death Collection. I finished Winnowing Flame. I finished Davabad.
Winnowing Flame, I need to read that this year. I've read the first one, and that's it.
And then I am making my way through Jade Legacy right now. So I am on a series kick. And then I'm moving on to Empire of the Wolf with Tyranny of Faith and the third one, whatever it is. So my goal is to finish out series.
Are on sale right now on Amazon for $2.99.
Trials of Empire or Tyranny of Faith? Oh, I already have it.
I think all three of them are $2.99 today. I wrote that.
Oh, because the third one just came out or is about to come out.
Yeah, I think so.
That's amazing.
So maybe not the third one, but yeah.
But yeah, I'm just determined to finish series because I feel like I have them hanging over me. They're this little cloud It keeps following me wherever I go, and they just haunt me.
I know that feeling.
Yeah, they're in my dreams.
Trying
to
stay caught up with new releases is what Jade was talking about. You're just like always starting new series. So I've tried to make it so that basically everything on my shelf actually most things on these shelves I have read, or at least I've read the beginning of the series, so that when I look at my shelves, I'm like, I love all of these, like that kind of feeling. And then the ones I haven't read are like, oh yeah, I don't want to have to remember that I haven't finished that series. I'm trying to get caught up with series as well. I just read A Little Hatred. It was so good.
I know you really sold that for me. I really need to get back to that world because I'm very excited now.
Stupid Joe Abercrombie writing. There's a character that at the beginning, so I'll have at the time I'm filming this, it's not up, but it will be up by the time this video goes up. So there's a character that at the beginning I'm like, I hate this guy so much, and then because it was a vlog, I was going to be checking in, so when I came back, I was like, I should have known that he was going to make me like kind of like this guy, even though he's still so annoying and so dumb, but I'm like, oh, he's kind of trying though. And if you can, I don't like reckless characters. I think we've talked about this before. When characters are reckless and selfish and stupid, I'm just like, I hate them. I don't like them. But when they try, even if they're dumb and naive and they're still annoying, if they're trying to do something, I'm just like, oh gosh darn it. Because then it's kind of sad, because you're like, oh, you're such a failure. So
it kind of reminds me of a character that he wrote in First Law, Giselle.
Yeah.
I love Giselle so much.
I can't say
the worst, but I love him.
I can't say too much more, Jesse, but just remember that you said that, and then this character, you'll be like, oh, that makes sense.
Okay, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I love Giselle. Everybody's like, Gloss was my favorite, and I'm like,
can I private chat you? Can I private chat you this thing I want to say?
Yes.
Because you're fine because you've read all First Law, right?
Yes.
Okay, I read all First Law too.
Okay.
I figured when you said that, I figured.
Oh, interesting.
I love that so much.
Also, though, there's like an aspect in that book where you're like, oh no, this is so gross. No. There's something that takes place in that book where you're like, no, please let there be some mystery in the family I don't know about. I hope this isn't the case. I was messaging Leanna. I'm like, so later in this, does this change? And she's like, I was like, no, this is icky.
Yes, Christy.
Yeah, Giselle.
So love for Giselle. He's so dumb. He's just the worst, and I love him.
I still can't get over when he sees a woman that he's attracted to and he's excited about it. And then he sees her brother later, and he's like, for some reason, I just like feel like he knows I was thinking about his sister, and you're just like, he's so stupid.
He's so dumb. I love him.
Also, Christy, of course you love Giselle. I make fun of Christy because I tell her she has the worst taste in fictional men. She loves
in relationships, like fictional relationships. She ships some of the weirdest things. Has she told you that she ships Cal and Syl?
No, Christy, don't. No, that's the worst. That's gross. She's like a child. Why? Yeah, Christy. No, I'm not okay with this. Okay?
She got crap for that in our Discord.
That's icky. No. So Syl is basically like she's so childlike. It's no. Anyway,
and what was the Star Wars people that you were shipping, Chrissy? Was it like, I think it was like Anakin and Obi-Wan, like she shipped them, and I was like, that's like his dad, like father figure, like that's not okay.
They're like brothers. Brothers.
She has the weirdest taste in relationships. I'm sorry, I'm outing all your secrets, Christy.
Yeah, we joked about. I think I have good taste in fictional characters, personally. My favorite crushes are okay, one of them is Vi from Arcane. And I remember I love Vi so much. I will admit I'm straight, but Vi, I don't know, I love her so much. And I remember somebody commented on my side channel when I mentioned that I love Vi, and they're like, does your husband know you're bisexual? And I'm like, I mean, I'm not, but also who cares, you know?
Okay.
But anyway, I don't know what it is. I just love Vi. Obviously, Kaladin. I love Kaladin. Oh. But like all time, Clive from Final Fantasy 16. It's a newer game. Clive is just the perfect. He's so perfect. It's so annoying. Wow. And I found this thread on Reddit, because it's Reddit, and it's like the funniest thread. Somebody shared screenshots basically of this character, and they're like, I just was telling my friend about this the other day, so I'm gonna read it to you because it's one of my favorite threads I have ever encountered. And one of the shots, the screenshots, is literally like, you don't even see the character's face, you just see they're fully clothed, but you just see like their chest to their waist. And somebody's like, hey man, so the thread says, am I still straight if I only like women but also Clive? And then all these replies are just like, nobody's straight enough to resist it. But look at this screenshot. It's like, the screenshot they shared, just like his chest. And anyway, so the whole thread is just about like Final Fantasy awakened something in people, and it's a super funny thread. But anyway, that character, it doesn't help the voice actor's voice is so good too. Such a good voice. This character is like just the best character. Anyway, Christy, the whole point is that you wouldn't like this character probably because he's not a himbo.
No, that's the worst. That's the absolute worst. No, I've never heard anything worse. That's so
now funny. I want to make a video about like the worst ships of all time. Something that either you feel like you can't admit to other people, but that you secretly ship, or like weird ships you've heard about. Ooh. I don't like kid ones though. That's not cute. Not that. That's just gross. But I mean like funny ones. I hope he was at least half joking.
Gosh, yeah, that's a good one. I can't think of anyone right now. It's like a weird ship.
My phone rang. Sorry. I don't know if it suddenly was, if you could hear it.
No, we couldn't hear it.
Oh, it started to come through and I was like, can everybody hear my phone ringing all of a sudden? I don't know what it was. Anyway, this has been a super fun chat. I know both of you, though, of course, because you're busy moms, have a lot going on. Was there anything else you wanted to chat about before we hop off? I think it'd be fun if we made an effort to like do a catch-up chat session every now and then, just to.
So nice.
Yeah, because we don't get to chat as often as we used to.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, my life is so much busier. I always thought like, okay, if booktube is important to me, I will make time for it. There's just not enough hours in the day. Like I want to make time for it, but I like can't. I mean, obviously I have other things like medical stuff, and I have a new position at work that keeps me like I'm in a lot more meetings, and it's kind of more, I think, similar to what you do, Jesse. It's a lot more like project management, IT related stuff. But I'm just like busy all the time, and I miss reading. I miss making videos.
That's why I really don't like when people say, because people get defensive when someone says, oh, I just don't have the time to read. And, you know, I understand some people, like, they do have the time. They just don't want to spend their spare time reading. Like, I get it. But also reading is a little more demanding than sitting and, you know, like watching something on TV. Even if it's a documentary, it's still easier to take in a documentary than to read about something. But I just feel like sometimes people think that hobbies exist in a vacuum, as though you don't have a lot going on. And everybody has a lot going on in their lives. Where I'm going with this is just to say there are plenty of people who are still readers, who still love reading. and life sometimes just, I don't want to say gets in the way, because a lot of times what's happening in life is more important than books, but people get busy. And I do think that every now and then BookTube can accidentally perpetuate this idea that you're not a reader if you're not reading, 10 books a month or more, whatever the case may be. And I just don't think that's fair. And then to the point of people saying, oh, well, you would make time for it if you actually liked it. I just think that's also silly, because like your jobs are very demanding. Your health stuff, Jade, has been very demanding on you physically, emotionally, all these things. Jesse, obviously you have 2 kids now, and work is just really stressful. So I just think it's nice that reading is just a thing for everybody, anybody. Doesn't matter what you read, doesn't matter how often you can read. How much. It's just, if you like to read, you like to read. You're a reader, you're a bookworm.
I'm just telling myself this is just a phase in my life, and one day when I have teenagers, maybe I'll get back to BookTube. I don't know. No, I want to make videos sooner than that, but it's just, I'm trying to tell myself this is temporary, and I just got to go with the flow and do what I can. Like, it's supposed to be fun, right? Like, if I'm stressed about trying to read and make videos, then it's not fun. So I just got to keep it light and fun.
Exactly. Yeah. And reading for me is something that is hard to do when I'm like sleepy, because it puts me to sleep quickly. So it's great. Like, if I can't get to sleep, I just pick up a book and read. Even if it's something I'm loving, like, it still will put me to sleep. And other like hobbies don't do that, like video games and TV, like that doesn't put me to sleep. So I think it's hard, like in this like mom phase of life, when you're like not sleeping great or sleeping limited hours and all that. It's like the only time you do have to read, you're so exhausted, and reading like puts me to sleep like really quickly. So I get like
that's what I struggle with too, is the little pockets of time that I do have. It's just, I'm just exhausted. I don't want to, use my brain. I want to like be a blob on the couch, which, I probably should be cleaning something, but I just, I just, I'm so tired all the time.
Well, you have to reset. Everybody has to reset. I think that concept of hustle, you have to fill every second with being productive, actually leads to you being less productive. Isn't there a stat that even shows, if you give, I'm going to not get the numbers correct, but something like if you have somebody have a 6-hour amount of time for work versus 8 hours, a lot of times like the 6 hour, they'll get the same amount, if not more, done, because they have that deadline that's kind of they have enough time to get stuff done, but not so much that they can procrastinate. But then also that means they have more time for that sort of reset period. Again, I'm probably getting the numbers mixed up, but
it's the same thing.
I think it's a very American.
That's another thing people have said, is like, you get the same amount of work done in 4 days that you do in 5. So
for sure, I totally believe that.
Are there any other things besides reading that you feel this way about, like any other hobbies or just activities or general like health, sports, that kind of thing, that you wish you had more time for? Or is it mostly reading?
I think it's just like mostly reading, but also just like time to myself. I don't know if you feel this way, but I guess I always knew I was an introvert, but until I had Liam, I didn't realize how important alone time was, like, because I don't really get it that much anymore. And so, I mean, I am lucky that I have family around that, they'll do overnight. Grandparents will do overnights with him. And I look forward to that so much, because it's the time that I can just totally be by myself. And I guess I just never really thought about it from that perspective, like how I would not have that when I became a mother. I just was unprepared for how, like, I logically, like, I knew that I wouldn't have free time, but I guess I didn't equate that to like not having alone time,
I totally agree. That's a really good way to put it. I hadn't framed it like that, but I'm the same way. And I found that the only way for me to like get in a good mood for the day is to wake up before the rest of my family wakes up, so that I can have my morning coffee and read my book. I know, I had to like force myself to like be a morning person. But my mother-in-law said she was the opposite, where she's a night owl, and she would stay up until like 3 a.m. just so that she could be alone. Like when everybody else had gone to sleep. So she did it like late at night. I try to do it early in the morning because I just cannot physically stay awake that long. But like that was how she got her alone time. That's how I get my alone time. It's like forcing myself to wake up.
Well, especially when you're I know this isn't true for every family, but I feel like for women for anybody who's nursing, that there's like the literal physical demand on your body as well. So then the child is sort of like, and I've even seen kids that'll come up to their moms and start just like grabbing at them and stuff. So it's not just that you don't get alone time to do like, oh, I want to do this and this. It's that your body's like your personal space is gone when you've got kids. In a way that I feel like a lot of times for people that have, a significant other helping them, they might not quite have that same experience. Because their body's not in demand.
Lucky that we have family close by, and Justin's home with him and does a lot of the childcare too. I can't imagine being like a single parent or not having help. Like it really does take you just never get a break. Like to never get a break from your kid, which that sounds so terrible, but you know what I mean? Like you're just like always on and have to like do stuff and be a responsible person 24 hours a day is like, it's a lot. Totally. And like logically I knew that before having a kid, but then like living it has been different than I thought.
Totally. Yeah. I look at single parents and I am just like, you are incredible. Like, I don't know how people do it. It's amazing. People are amazing, but yeah, I feel the same exact way. I'm like so grateful for the help I have because we have
at least even if we don't have grandparent help for a week or whatever, like Justin and I can take turns like taking point on being in charge of the kid or whatever. Right. But if I was by myself, like I don't know, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's important too for people like me and Sean who don't have kids to still try to look into what it's like, the experiences, because I feel like everybody, like almost like what you're describing, Jade, everybody has an idea like, oh, life is hectic when you have kids and stuff like that. But I don't know how much people really, really look into like mom accounts, and there's dad accounts out there too. There's just usually more mom accounts out there. And like pregnancy, how demanding pregnancy, we all understand pregnancy is demanding, but a lot of people don't really understand. And even a lot of women don't understand, or people who, like might want to have children, they don't really understand. So I think it's important for people to recognize that and to be willing to help those who do, like your family members and stuff, or your friends. If my sister lived nearby, I would have so much fun watching my nieces. I'm just sad that they're not around, but I would definitely be like, let's go, like see this. They're cute, so I'd want to do whatever they'd want to do. But but Sean and I are pretty much like what is described here. We know that we're already old people. Like we're already like, what's with that loud music? It's already 9 o'clock, like we're already basically acting like empty nesters, but we don't have kids, which is why Luna comes up all the time, because we're like, oh, Luna, and it's like all we have. But I just think, and I think people that are within our age group, you see so many more people now not having kids, which is fine if that's what people want, and I don't think people should be shamed for it. Right. I'm laughing because I've been shamed for it before, and I just think it's like the dumb. I'm like, why would you want somebody who doesn't want kids to have kids? That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so one thing that makes me sad though is that because so many people are not having children or choosing not to have children, they don't then have friends that have kids, because it does force people apart, because you're just so busy. Like we were talking about at the beginning of this chat, that it's just hard sometimes to keep up. But some people have like a lack of empathy and understanding that it's like, no, they have less time than you. I know everybody has 24 hours in the day. They don't really have 24 hours in the day. You have more. So if you have to sometimes be the one to reach out, or if you have like, don't get your feelings hurt if Maybe they've got stuff going on and things like that. Yeah.
Sometimes I also wonder how different it would have been if I had had kids younger. I think when you have kids in your 30s, maybe it's like even harder because you are used to having time for yourself and used to having time for your hobbies, and then it's gone. Versus if I had a kid when I was younger.
You're already getting tired earlier when you're 30.
Right. Yeah. So like sometimes I'm like, oh, why did I mean, I wanted to wait until I felt financially ready. Well, you never are financially ready, but I wanted to wait till I felt ready. And then we had trouble getting pregnant. And obviously we talked earlier, I had a miscarriage and like there were problems. And then we finally have a kid. And now I'm like so exhausted all the time. And I just wonder how things might have been different if I'd had a kid in my 20s. I think it would have been maybe a better, easier adjustment. I don't know.
That's interesting.
I think a lot of people
thought of it that way. Yeah.
I think a lot of people in their 20s, I think it's better now, but a lot of people also don't realize how much of their own trauma they're not. I mean, a lot of us aren't really ever through our trauma, but a lot of people don't even acknowledge they're traumatized from certain things until way later, and then it doesn't come out. You don't really see it, and then until you have kids, and suddenly you pass certain things on because this is how you dealt with. Yeah, and I do think that emotionally, as far as like emotional intelligence goes, and recognizing things in yourself, that a lot of times when you're a little older, that's the payoff, right? When you're a little older, you usually know those things, not always. And that's not to say people in their 20s can't also recognize that, but I do think that it's sometimes like the brain just can't even process that you've been traumatized until later in life too. So, but when you're like 20 years old, there's a reason athletes are considered old when they're like 30 and they're still playing, because you just physically aren't as energetic, and plus it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm just saying there's pros and cons, and but you have your
and I've also thought about like when Liam is older, like I wish I was a younger grandmother, like so I could be around for my grandkids even longer and stuff. Anyways,
at that point, we'll all be within machines, and then you can just like, yeah,
exactly. So funny. It's exhausting, but
rewarding at the same time.
I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it.
Yay, that's a nice way to end it.
Yay!
Yeah, me being the only one without kids, it's all it comes down to is I'm like, I don't get to hear from my friend as much. It's so hard for me, which obviously I don't actually feel that way. I mean, I'm sad I don't get to hear from you as often, and that we can't like you guys can't just like arrive in Arizona when that sounds fun. By the way, how fun would it be though if we all had like an Arizona trip, if you came out here?
I have considered it because I also have a friend in Tucson who's pregnant right now. And then I have, you guys in Phoenix, and Blippi goes to some cool places in Phoenix that have like kid playgrounds and stuff. And I'm like, Phoenix is a Phoenix trip.
That would be great. So fun.
Just don't come here in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like even though I'm also an introvert, I've been making an effort to like explore Arizona more, whether it be like cool little shops or bakeries or just hikes and stuff like that. So and I've lived here my whole life. If you come out here, we'll have fun.
I definitely want to take you up on that.
Yeah. We should plan a trip. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I would love
Cool. Well, anyway, it's much later for the two of you, and you're probably much more exhausted than I am. So yeah. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. This is super fun. We'll have to try to do another one sometime.
Yeah, let's do it again.
We'll do another check in, see how things are. But thanks so much. Thanks to the patrons who joined. It was fun to have you.
Yeah.
Anybody that ends up watching the replay of this, I hope you enjoyed this roller coaster of a video. And we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.